Hi guys, I hope you're having a good day. I'm sitting here at the beach. I was sitting here, it got a little warm in here, so it made me drowsy. I just woke up. And I said, why not give an update of how things are going for me living this new lifestyle? Confined to Florida for a while, but I'm gonna make the most of it and make the best of it. So let me show you my view in front of me. Okay, so I'm going to show you my van setup, okay? I know you see a lot of videos of people in their vans, the ones that they don't build up anything in them. They're called no-bill van bills. And um, I've seen a lot of videos where, people had their little, you know, cabinetries or whatever, you know, fixed up, and they just seems to have so much room and space in their vans and fixed up so nice and pretty and everything. But I'm about to show you a reality. My van is not a pretty picture, but it's gonna get better. I'm just like I have too much stuff. Like up here on my front seat, I have like 2 bags of clothes. They're clean clothes. And I have my Jackery solar panel. I tried to use it the other day. It wasn't really powering up my Jackery like I needed to. Just not fast enough. And also, like my son ran a cord from out of his garage into his truck. So this morning, I powered up my EcoFlow to 100%. So now I see how I'm able to keep my refrigerator running. My refrigerator is in the back. I'm going to show it to you, the whole van build setup, but it's not a pretty picture, okay? I got to straighten up, and I just got to take some more stuff from out of here. But as long as my EcoFlow is charged up 100%, it runs my refrigerator all night long while I'm in the driveway and while I'm asleep. And then it used up last night from 100%. It used up maybe about 45%. So I just charged it up from there. Okay, so let me show you. I was sitting here and it's so warm today, the heat. I mean, I got these. Oh, let me show you my screens that I wasn't able to show you before. Okay, and excuse the 2 bags of laundry on my front seat, but let me show you. Okay, so this is my driver's side. Just my 2 bags of clothes. That's my Jackery solar panel. And these screens here, I like them because, I keep them on my windows as I'm driving. I keep them unzipped and I can see out. I haven't been stopped by the police or anything like that. Let me show you. Oh, and that's a little, this solar panel that's up here in the window. That solar panel, let me show you my box. As I gotta find, I showed it to you in my other video. One moment. My van is kind of a mess, but that's the beach. This here box right here, this is the newest one that I ordered this year. I have 2 of them. I had the other one for like 2 years, but this one right here, it came with this solar panel that's up here in the window. And so this green box right here, I have a cigarette lighter plug underneath this drawer here, which is a mess down here. So I had this charging, but I unplugged it because I don't want it charging while my van is not running. I don't want to mess up my battery, so it's not getting charged right now unless I turn the van on. So I unplugged it. But this solar panel that's up here in the window, it is currently powering up this one right here. And this, how easy. I'm kind of disappointed in it because because it's been using up power like very quickly. It seems like since I've been charging it up from solar, it seems like the power just goes fast. And so right now I'm about to unplug the cord from this that I was charging it up in the cigarette lighter plug, and I'm about to plug up the cord from this solar panel that's up here. Let me see how much percentage I'm getting. Let me see. I'm plugging it up now. And so this is at I'm looking at it on the screen, and 34% is flashing kind of crazy looking, and I'm getting 12 volts or whatever input, 12V input. But anyway, so I'm gonna let it charge this green power bank up. Okay, but getting back to my window screens. Okay, let me sit this thing down first. So it's getting fully powered. It's getting, getting all the power it can. I think it might be able to get up to 15V from the solar panel. I don't know why it's only getting 12. But anyway, over here on my side, this is the screen that's in my window. So I'm holding my phone, guys. Have patience with me, because my little cell phone holder that goes up in the rear mirror thing up here up front. I ordered one off of Amazon, and the doggone thing just won't stay up there past the return date, so I gotta put up with it. But hold on, I'm trying to hold the phone and show you this window screen. I like it because this is how it looks right now, zipped down, so you can see outside, you can see the cars going by and everything. But hold on, let me show you when I zip it up. Okay, so I just zipped it up, and now this is as much as you can see on the outside. So what I've done is at nighttime I have some scrap material from at one point my son wanted to go away to truck driving school, and he was going to sleep in his truck, and I was making him some blackout panels, and his windows is so long in his truck that the panels had to be made in 2 pieces. And so he met his little girlfriend. All them little plans changed. So let me show you this. So if I could reach past this jackery. Oh no, I don't have to do that because they got the other one back here. You're gonna see my van. It's messy. It's not a pretty picture. This gonna look better, but it's not like all them little cutesy vans in the videos, all nicely fixed up and so neat and pretty and everything. Okay, so I'm gonna show you what I do in this window with the screen zipped up at night. Then I just take, this is a leftover piece of blackout panel that when I was working on them for my son's van. And for my van, I bought the, let me show you. I bought the reflectants, the silver side. You can find this at Home Depot. I made so many blackout panels. I was so excited about van life and daydreaming and wishing it was me. I used to have a little Kia Soul. I had the nerves to make blackout panels for a little Kia Soul, as if I could live out of a Kia Soul. But nevertheless, I made them for my 4 side windows on my Kia Soul, front seat row and back seat row. This is the reverse side of the reflectants. This is like a this material, I wouldn't say felt, I don't know, but anyway, it's soft and everything. And So this is a piece of reflectance that was left from when I was making them for him. So this screen right here, I just take this with my window lit up. My window's down right now. But if my window is up, then I just take this and stick it in between here. Wouldn't be so difficult right now if my window is up. I got a nice breeze coming through. So stick it up in between the screen. When the window is up, it goes up in here easily like that, and so it'll totally black out my window because I didn't make the reflectance for the first row of windows, but my second row and third row, my reflectance that I made, they're holding up pretty good. And then I turned around and ordered these little black suction cups, and so what I did was I sat down and took down one dark out shade at a time, and the little suction cups have these little tabs on it, so I punched a hole on each end of my reflectance and put suction cups on them and stuck them back up in the windows, so each reflectant, and all 4 windows have 2 suction cups in each one. Just kind of help my panel stay up. But I'm sitting here, dang, let me see, what is this just pulled up next to me. Oh, a nice little van pulled up next to me. I don't like crowds. I like, I like having space to myself, and I don't like people being all up in my business and everything, as far as like, I want to show you guys my van and everything, and people walk past and they be about ready to bump into a wall for trying to see what's going on in my van. But okay. So before I show you the disaster in the back of my van, what I do at night is stuff that's in my way, I move it up here to the driver's seat. Okay, so like I said, these 2 bags of clothes, they're currently remaining in my driver's seat because I need to go through them and had to make a decision what clothes I'm going to put in the storage. Right now it's mostly like t-shirts, my underclothes, t-shirts and shorts, and so it's just been tough trying to make a decision to what to put, like in storage. I haven't been wearing any jeans or long pants or anything like that. It's just been hot here. I mean, I had a lot of rainy days, especially when I was moving, but I was still moving like in shorts and stuff like that, and short sleeve shirts and everything. So I didn't want to put that in storage too soon and then turn around and had to go back because I was all out of clean clothes and everything, and go back and get some more out of storage. So I just keep them right here in my seat, even though I can go to a laundromat, which I plan on doing. And before I show you the van, also, speaking of laundromat, when I go to the laundromat, when I was in my duplex, I was going to this laundromat. I just want to tell you this story real fast. And so this laundromat, I don't know what the scam is, whether they're trying to save on water or whatever, but I was going to this laundromat doing my laundry. I didn't have a washer and dryer at home. And I was doing my laundry, and I go in there, and the way theirs work is you buy this little laundry card, right? Buy this little card, look like a little credit card, and then you put your money on the card, and then you just whatever wash machine you're using, you lay your card up there on the little tab, on the little tray, and then you select your load, temperature, and all of that stuff, and then you push the button, and then it'll take away the cost of that wash cycle. It'll deduct it from your card. So this happened to me almost every time I went to the laundromat. I'd be sitting there like in a chair next to my two front loads of laundry washing. And, I buy good detergent. I don't buy no cheap kind or anything like that. So I'm looking at other people's washing machines, and their clothes is just bouncing around in soapy water and everything. And I'm sitting there waiting to see some soap. and I'm barely seeing water. And so I had to tell this one lady, like, where's my water? Where's my soap? I'm not seeing it. And I barely see water. What is going on? Oh, well, these new wash machines doesn't take a lot of water. I said, yeah, but I don't see any water. I see my clothes being tossed around. They look wet, but where's the water? Where's my soap? Where's my soapy load? And she just kind of brushed me off. And I think she went and got an empty jug, and came back and poured some water in the machine. And by then, while I was complaining, I was like near the rinse cycle, so she wanted to give me another wash for free. And so the next time, I think she gave me another wash for free, but I still wasn't seeing no soapy water. And I'm like, and my clothes, what do I use? Lord have mercy, I don't have the because I'm trying to think of the name of the detergent. I can't think of it right now. It's not Tide, but it's in a green bottle, and I love the way it smells. It'll come to me. But anyway, the next time I went, I tried a bigger washer. I think the first time the lady wanted to use the excuse, you need to get a larger washing machine. So the next time I was in a larger washing machine, that'll hold like 2 and 3 loads or whatever. So I'm paying for 2 big, huge washing machines to wash my clothes. Same situation. No soapy water. I'm barely seeing water. My clothes are being tossed around. Look like they're getting maybe sprayed with water, but the washing machine wasn't filling up with water. So I called a lady over, and I told her, and I'm like, this happened before. What is going on? How come I'm not seeing my water or my detergent or anything like that? And whatever person is there is a different excuse. And she wants to tell me to use a larger machine, and I'm like, that's nonsense. It's just me. I don't have that much clothes. You know what I'm saying? I might have one washing machine is my clothes, the next washing machine may be my sheets and so forth, but come on now, it's just me. I don't have that much. It's like they all had a different excuse. So then the next time I went, and I was sitting, at the smallest washing machines they had, and I had like 3 loads, right? So I'm sitting like next to them. And I just got so frustrated seeing other people's washing machines with soapy water. You in the window, you're seeing soap, water just bouncing around. So I'm sitting there, and I just see my clothes tossing around. They look like they're wet, like the machine is spraying them with water. But I don't see no soap. Gain is what I use, detergent. I'm not seeing my Gain detergent, no soapy water. And so I got up, and I like right across from where I was sitting and looking at my 3 washing machines, right across from there was the desk where the ladies sit behind the desk and everything. So she must have read the expression on my face, because I got up, went over to one of the washing machines, and they're up kind of high, so I had to kind of like peek over in there. I stuck my fingers over in there, and my detergent and fabric softener was still sitting in the machine. I turned and looked over at the lady, and before I could open up my mouth, she's like, oh, okay. And she comes running over, before I can say something, because she didn't want me to say anything out loud. So I think, I'm like, what is happening? I'm sitting here looking at my laundry, not getting clean. I don't see my detergent, I don't see any water, and I don't see any soap. And then she, they just try to just make any little excuse, like going to get a little jug to pour some water in there, and getting some jug of heaven knows what's in the jug. And I'm like, look, I don't need you to give me detergent. I have my own detergent. I just want a clean wash cycle. I want my clothes clean with my detergent. What is going on? How come I'm not seeing any soapy water? So she goes with a jug and pours some water in there, and I just got so fed up with that. So I don't know what kind of scam they're pulling, where saving money, they go in the back in the little room and turn off my wash cycle, and I'm just like, it's like just spraying my clothes with water, and then the next it's in the rinse cycle, and I never saw any soap. And if I would have never got up and stuck my fingers up in the little compartments where you pour your detergent, you know, I would have said, or like a lot of people put their stuff in the washing machine, then they go out to their vehicle, leave or whatever, and they come back when they think that their cycle has been completed, their wash, cycle and rinse and all of that. So if I would have never got up and stuck my fingers up in that compartment and just sat there like reading a little newspaper, magazine or something, or on my phone, and then I'm like, oh, the cycle is finished, and then take my clothes and put them in a dryer, and my clothes is only being sprayed with some water, and I would smell my clothes. I don't smell the Gain. I started buying Gain because I like the smell of Gain. I wasn't smelling the Gain. So you're taking my money, number one. Number two, you're not giving me water, and you're stealing my detergent. So I stopped going there. I stopped going to that one place. And that's why I like the top loads where you put your stuff in the washing machine fills up with water. But they got some kind of scam going on where they're not giving you the water. They're trying to save on water bill or something. And you stealing my detergent, you taking my money. But anyway, I just had to tell you about that experience. I'm like, so here where I am now at the beach, it's a laundromat. Because when that happened to me at the laundromat over by where I was staying in my duplex, I just stopped going. I just started, I was at home and sitting at home most of the time. And I just started washing stuff out by hand and hanging it up. Like you have your fine washables that say wash by hand. So I just started washing everything by hand. Because I'm like, I am not giving them my money. They taking my detergent and my money. My money spends like everybody else's, and I want clean clothes. So anyway, over here by the beach where I am now, let me show you the beach again. Water for days. This is just beautiful. This is where I hang out while I'm waiting to pay off some credit cards. That's the only way I can start my travel adventures. I can't get out there with no money. I gotta be prepared in case there's any kind of breakdowns. I can't call my insurance company to come to my rescue if I need to be told somewhere and told me where and do what if I'm broke. So it's gonna take a while before I get out on the road. But anyway, I am just going to tell you guys, beware, because this is my van. This breeze coming through here feels so good. Let me zip this thing back down. Hold on. Showing you this screen. I'm zipping it back down so I can see how it's a nice cool breeze coming through the windows on both sides. Again, that's my 2 laundry bags. But I'm getting out and I'm going to show you my van setup. And again, guys, I'm sitting here sweating. Forgive me of that. It's warm out, but it's a beautiful day. Thank God. I appreciate the sun coming out. I can charge up my little power boxes and so forth. And I'm getting out so you can see my van setup. This is gonna be my life for a while. I'm hoping, I know it's going to start getting colder here in Florida. When I bought this van last year, I was sharing a duplex with my son, and then he moved his girlfriend in without discussing it with me like almost 2 years ago. So we got into it about something, and I had a little green Kia Soul. Another story of how amazing God is. And so, I was at home sitting, and I know you guys probably saying, come on, get to the van, you got these little stories. But anyway, I was making quilts. I was sitting at home. I wasn't working. This is before I got the job at the Goodwill. Me and my son was splitting the rent. He moved his girlfriend in without discussing it with me. And she got to stay there for free for almost 2 years. And her first year, she got to save until she got herself a little piece of transportation. And then after she got her transportation, then the complaints started. And I was made to feel like I escaped from a nursing home and moved in on them. That's how I was made to feel. Because he was like, we need our own privacy. We need our own space. And I'm like saying, well, okay, like, what do you want me to do? Like, we're sharing this place. You want me to go? This place is in my name. It was my good credit that got us this place after we had to be out of my father's house after he passed. His house went into foreclosure. So it was my credit that found us the place. But, there's no animosity or anything like that. I love my son, and he's a hard worker, and I watched him go to work every day and come home and play video games. And it just broke my heart. I prayed real hard for God to bless him with a family, because I'm like, Lord, that'll just, it just breaks my heart to see him come home and do nothing but play video games. And he always believed in working and everything, but it just broke my heart to see him alone. And I prayed real hard for God to bless him with a family, a young lady to treat him right. I have a beautiful grandbaby. She's 8 months old. They had to rush her to hospital last night because she had a temperature, and I was all comfortable in my van, laid back, on my phone on YouTube. And then he was like, you have to move. I had them blocked in the driveway, and he was like, you have to move. We got to go to the hospital. I got to take her to the hospital. And he said her. I didn't know whether it was the baby's mama, because she's pregnant again with another little girl due the same month that the first baby was born, in January. Anyway, so I have to put everything on the front seat. Everything that's on my bed right now, I have to move it onto the front seat. And so I had stuff piled on my front seat. I'm like, wow, I got to move out of his way. I got to get out this van, move all that stuff out the way. So he is so impatient. He just drove across his grass and went on to the hospital. So anyway, I go on with these little stories. I lose track of what I was talking about. So anyway, yeah. So so I had a Kia Soul, and I was sitting in my room sewing, with my door closed. And the way this duplex was made, the master bedroom was way towards the back. I never seen a setup like that. It was a long hallway. When you walk through the front door, the two smaller bedrooms was towards the front door. And then my master bedroom was way to the back, which is where the kitchen and the living room was. And my bedroom was off of the living room near the kitchen. So I'm sitting in there, and I'm sewing, working on a quilt. And I was playing my gospel music, and with my door closed, and my son texted me, can you turn that down? So, I text him back, like, can somebody get in there and clean off the kitchen stove, which is not clean the way I left it. So that started a chain reaction of texting, his threats. I could move out right now, and you'll be left to pay this rent by yourself, and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I won't be left, I won't be left paying this rent by myself, because I'll get a minivan and live out of it, and I don't have to pay anything. So at the time, I had this little flyer from Daytona Kia, the little scratch off things, come in and see. And it was like, it was the day before Thanksgiving. No, it was Thanksgiving Eve, actually. And so I said, well, let me go. I went for 2 reasons: to see if I won something, and plus a week before that, I went to a Ford dealership in the city there that I lived in, and they had one little minivan, and they act like that minivan was too good for me. And it wasn't all of that. It was nothing like this minivan. This minivan has more features than the one that they thought was just act like it was, we can't sell you this minivan for what you want to pay for it, and blah, 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 blah. And I left that dealership. I'm like, forget y'all. There's other minivans elsewhere, and I'll keep looking, and God will bless me with one in due time. So a week later, I had this flyer from Daytona Kia, and so I called them, and I said, because the people at the dealership was, big old truck was driving past. People at the dealership was making it sound like minivans are hard to come by nowadays, and they was like, well, check back with us later. We got a lot of SUVs coming in. And I'm like, did I say I wanted an SUV? I want a minivan. So I'm like, I left there, and I said, forget y'all, and y'all want a little minivan. God will bless me with one in due time. And so when I got that flyer, it was Thanksgiving Eve. And I called the dealership for two reasons. Find out if they was open. And then I asked them, did they have minivans? And the guy was like, oh, sure, we have several of them. So I said, well, that's a reason for me to go, and I'm not going to drive all the way to Daytona for just for a little scratch-off ticket, because I know I probably, they play games with that little stuff just to get you in there to sell you stuff. So I wanted to see how many minivans they had, since the Ford dealership told me minivans are hard to come by. So I got there. I had my little Kia Soul. And let me bounce off of this conversation. I want to tell you how good God is. Because when my father was living, all while I was taking care of him, even when I lived in Detroit, my eye was just always attracted to the Kia Soul. And I would see it, just catching a bus to work. And I'm like, one day I'm going to have one of those. And while my father, was living, whether he was going to the grocery store or doctor's appointment, he had me drive to this little city, Palaca, one time, because he had this little newspaper on the back. It showed a car dealership and only $59 down or some crap like that. And we drove to Palaca. I GPS'd it and he drove. I had the address on my GPS and we made it there, and it was a ran down car dealership. I test drove some little piece of minivan or SUV or something, and it sounded like it could barely make it out the parking lot. I told my father, no, let's just go back home. So anyway, but I would show him while we're in the car, whether we was going to the grocery store, stuff like that. I'm like, see, every time a Kia passed, I'm like, that's the kind of car I want. That's the kind of car I want. And he wanted me to have some transportation, but I just said, one day I'm gonna get me a Kia Soul. And so God made me realize that when my father was living, at that time it wasn't meant for me to have my own car, and I was looking for a job. And I'm like, he made me realize that it wasn't meant for me to have a car. It wasn't meant for me to be out there working, because it would defeat the whole purpose of why I came to Florida, which was to take care of my dad, because he was going out and getting lost, before they took away his driving privileges. So, yeah. So, I didn't get a job. I couldn't find a job anywhere. No one was calling me for a job. And I'm like, I want that Kia Soul. I want to have my own transportation and blah, 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 blah. So I was just like sitting at home in my father's house. And I think I made like 13 quilts. I made them for family members, a couple relatives. My one cousin, I made one for her son and daughter. She bought them from me. That was nice of her. And then everybody else, I made quilts and relatives and friends, gave it to them. So anyway, the story is, after my father passed and me and my son moved out of my father's house into the duplex that I just moved out of, I got this little letter from Capital One Credit, because I had Capital One credit card, and they was like, you're pre-approved for a vehicle at the same dealership that acted like their little minivan was too good for me or whatever. So I think it was on the weekend. Me and my son was sharing my father's car, and he was always using it, more than me, because I had no friends and I didn't have any place to go. So I told him, I'm just gonna go see what this letter is about. I'm pre-approved for auto loan. So we both went in my father's car. My son sat in the car while I went in there. Oh, I was working though. I was a customer service representative in Daytona. So, my father had gave my son an SUV, and then, but I think he had a problem with the engine, so we were sharing my father's car while his truck just sat in the driveway and everything. So, I was driving to work in Daytona and everything. We were sharing my father's car. But I considered it my car because, while my father was living, they took away his driving privileges. But anyway, so he sat in the car while I went in there. And so I had a little bit of money deposit to put down. And so I told the guy, I don't want anything big, something economical. I drive back and forth to Daytona every day. I was working full time. And so he was like, I got just the car for you. So he was like, let me go get it and I'll bring it to you. So I was standing outside and my son got out the car and he was like, what's happening? I said, he's going to get a car. And I just had all kind of little attitude. I'm like, he's going to get a car. Talking about he got just the thing for me. I said, he ain't even bother to ask me what I like or what, how he know, just attitude. Just a little funky attitude. He pulled up in like the lime green color Kia Soul. And my mouth just flew open. I was floored. And I'm like, see how good God is. The car that I've been wanting for years, he pulled up in the Kia Soul. And do you know, before I bought this minivan last year, I did not have any major problems with that Kia Soul. I really wished I could have kept it instead of trading it in. I did not have any problems. God is so good. He makes things happen. He may not answer your prayers when you want him to, but God never fails. He comes around. He comes through. So he came through with that Kia Soul for me, and that was my baby. I made my little blackout panels and all that stuff. But getting back to the story, it was Thanksgiving Eve. Me and my son was texting each other, kind of, and he threatening to move and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, I can me a minivan and live out of my minivan. You're not threatening me that like I'm gonna leave you stuck paying rent here by yourself that you cannot afford or whatever. So anyway, I went, and that little scratch off. I didn't win anything. They make it look like you won $1,000 or whatever. That was just to get you out there to the dealership. So it's like Thanksgiving Eve. So I told the guy, I'm still paying on this Kia Soul. I think I was paying like $259 or something like that a month. And I said, well, I'm looking for a minivan. I want to live out of a minivan. And I called and, someone told me that you have several of them. And the guy was like, yeah, let me drive you over to the lot where they are. And they had, really basically only had like 2 of them. And I don't even know what kind the other one is. It was older than this minivan. And it was older, and it had a console like in the middle that I would have to climb over, because I said eventually I want to be able to learn how to climb from my front seat to the back, because if you're stealth camping, you're not supposed to be getting out and climbing in your van from the side door, which is what I have to do now. But anyway, so then he showed me this minivan, and I test drove it, and I was telling him like, I don't want to pay no more than $350 a month. Oh no, you're not gonna be able to get a minivan paying that little bit of money. Oh no, you're definitely not gonna get a minivan at all, not paying that little bit. And I was test driving it, and I got so discouraged, but I wasn't going there looking to buy anything or anything like that. I just wanted to see, since the guys at the Ford dealership said minivans are so hard to come by, I just wanted to see whether that was true or not. I didn't go there with plans on purchasing a minivan. I didn't have a deposit, and that was not my purpose. I just wanted to see, in the future when I was ready to get a minivan, if it was going to be as difficult as they made it sound at the Ford dealership. So he shows me an SUV, and we got in the SUV. So he put the minivan back, saying, no, you can't afford no minivan, not at no $350 a month or whatever, not even $400. And so I was discouraged, so I let him talk me into test driving the SUV. But I got just out the parking lot, and I said, no, let's just turn around and put this SUV back, because that's not what I want. I don't want to try to live out of sleep in an SUV. Look at me, I'm a senior citizen. Come on now. I said, there's no point in me test driving this SUV. So then, I'm sitting in the golf cart waiting on him to park the SUV, put it back in its parking space. And so I just sat there in that golf cart, and I said, Lord, I did not come here looking to leave here with the minivan. But Lord, I test drove that white one, and I really want it. If you could do me this favor, I want that minivan. I want it. I want to leave here with it. Do you know that same man that discouraged me? Like, no, you can't afford. You can't get a minivan for that little bit of money and blah 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 blah. He went from discouraging me to having to talk me into getting the minivan. I said, well, why not go for it, see what happens, even though I didn't go there with expectations of leaving there with a minivan. But after he attempted like 3 or 4 times to talk me into it, because he was like, okay, you're already paying blah 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 amount, all you got to do is come up with the difference. And so I left there with this minivan, no deposit down, just the trade-in value of my Kia Soul. And so it was like Thanksgiving Eve, I left there with this minivan. And so I feel like God is so good. He makes things happen. With me sharing the rent with my son, and I had other expenses. I had my credit card bills and so forth, car insurance, stuff like that. So I did not have the job at the Goodwill because, okay, I got this minivan Thanksgiving Eve, and my first payment wasn't due until January of 22, I believe. January 22. Maybe it's January 23. And so then I was like on Indeed trying to find a job because I'm like, wow, my first payment is going to start in January, and I got to be able to come up with the difference of what I was paying in the car note of what I was paying for the Kia Soul. So then the months, November, all of November went by, and December, and I was getting a little nervous. I'm like, okay, Lord, my first payment is approaching, and I need to be able to come up with a difference in the money. And then another story is the company that I worked for when I was a customer service representative in Daytona. I was working for them before COVID in 2019, driving in my Kia Soul when I first got my Kia Soul. First we were sharing my father's car, and then I got the Kia Soul, so I was driving that back and forth to work. But I got tired of, that drive home. I would get drowsy, driving home. And it was a very stressful job. I had to answer calls back to back to back to back. When pharmacists try to process prescriptions for people and they couldn't get a paid claim, they had to call us. And we had to look at that person's insurance and monitor their insurance, go and look and see, on the computer what their insurance qualified them for as far as medication coverage, and make sure that they wasn't trying to get some opioids and stuff like that. And it was a very stressful job. And first it was fun. We had like about a month of training, and then they put us out on the floor, and then it was fun. It was like in training, the things that they was teaching us. I'm a hands-on person, so all the stuff we was learning and testing on, I was passing the tests and stuff like that. But as far as like what they were talking about, I'm like, you talking Chinese to me. I got to get out there and experience what I'm supposed to do. Right now, this is not meaning anything to me. So I told like one of the young ladies that was kind of helping me out, sitting next to me in training, I said, I'm just going to quit after this training class, because I have no idea what this crap is all about, even though I was passing my little test and all that stuff. And she was like, well, try it at least 1 week. That way you'll get your last full paycheck and everything. So we sat down, and after training, they put us on the floor and everything. And it was, very fast paced. Like, you talk to a pharmacist and you get them a paid claim. You don't have control over when the next call come in, the next call come in. So it's like back to back to back phone calls and everything. And our little team, the training class, the people that was in my training class, we were all like one little group. So once you finish training, they put you out on the floor. Then the next group is in training. So, we had our one little area row, about one whole row of desk and stuff, and you had 2 monitors. One monitor, you call up the person's insurance, and the other monitor, I forget, whatever. But it was a very stressful job. But at first it was fun because they wasn't so caught up on scores. You had to pass these scores and everything. And I was working without my sleep disorder medicine. How I did it, it was God, because God and the stress that was keeping me awake. But you know, they, you know, I learned the ropes and everything, and like I said, one pharmacist hang up, then the next call come in, so you had no control over the calls. You couldn't answer the calls yourself. You hang up, and then you had to update, type in your notes in the screen on that person's account and blah 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 before that pharmacist hang up, because the next pharmacist call come through, then that person's screen is going to pop up, their information is going to pop up. So if you didn't close the previous person's account, then you got to go back and type in your notes and wrap up and close that account that you didn't type in your notes, and wrap up that account before the next call. You had to go in and close up those accounts and everything. So anyway, that was it was a stressful job, but it became fun once I learned the ropes. But then they decided to give us a raise. Now all of a sudden they just really strict on notes, pass your scores. They were more stuck on scores than good customer service. And then they added on to our job, people, when they went online to like order medications and stuff, if they got locked out of their account, they couldn't remember their passwords, we had to unlock. They gave us an extra job of unlocking passwords and resetting people's, they try to especially seniors, try to order their medication online.